All right. Good evening, everyone. Last night we talked about a big trade in Tesla. It did not disappoint. Great move today, up 4%. While there was a lot of other names that were all over the place today, the big news, of course, was FedEx. I'm only taking responsibility of what I kind of put out, not be a reporter. We can all see there's 9,000 stocks out there, but I just look for high probability, good trade setups. That was what we had for Tesla. And I mean, bottom line, wasn't a buy signal, improving volume for all the reasons I can cite. It worked out. Those are high probability setups that we look for over and over again. Speaking of which, today, while the bottom line, let's look at the advanced decline work first. Only 171 stocks in the S&P 500 were up today, 329 down. The advanced decline looks more negative. That means stock market's going up, less stocks joining it. That breadth is what we would call narrowing. To make the market more appealing and more healthy, it's best if the advanced decline rises and it's not led by a few names. That's what we hear about the magnificent 6 or 7. And from one day to the next, one stock's doing very positive, and the next day the other stock's not. So as long as the bulk of those MAGA 6 names hold up, then we're going to start to see higher valuations. And if that's all that's being traded, longer term, that's not a good thing. One or two things are going to happen. New money comes into the market, raises all the little stuff, and the big stuff doesn't have to move down. What we've been seeing is a rotational grind where all the money's in the top layered mega cap names. If some of that money comes down and floats into, say, small cap Russell, you're going to get a big blast off. And what's going to lead us is the advanced decline. And looking at today's action, we're still in a buy signal. Yes, the sector was down. This ETF, the small cap Russell, was down, but the advancers were squeaking out the decliners just by a little bit. Now, I'm not saying that's a phenomenally strong signal. We want to see more participation, but again, it's going to take 2 or 3 more days. And if we start to see more accumulation in the Russell, that's a very positive, be long IWM under those conditions. All right, so going into the overall market, lots of little stuff up today. Lots of little stuff. Of course, Amazon's not little stuff, but Datadog, little stuff in the sense that it hasn't gone anywhere in a long time. There's a coincident value with those two names. They're in cloud storage. And one of the other names that we popped up on our radar earlier today in the live trade room was Snowflake. And it's also in that space. But look at the component here I want to have you look at. It's not the price gain $4 or the percent change. Volume today was a key reversal day. So the stock kind of opened lower and traded higher. It tested a double bottom, but it key reversed off of big volume. So any pullbacks should be bought until proven wrong. So all the volume indicators had supported an upside move. We had this pattern called the high closed doji. We color coded our work. This is something I published in what book was that? 20 years ago, the John Wiley and Sons series, Candlestick and Pivot Point Trading Triggers. That's what launched the whole popularity with a lot of pivots and also helped to vitalize at least the candlestick analysis. So with that said, this is a very bullish pattern. That's what we identified. And since today, at the conclusion of the 1030 bar that generated a buy signal, not a big deal, but still a very nice trade that had no earnings behind it. It was just part of the, buy setups that get triggered here. But Snowflake, I think on the end of the day, it's got great volume. Look how far it's come down. It was at 162 in May. It was at almost 240 trading here in February this year. So the data cloud storage has gotten abandoned badly. So I think it's not, I don't think it's done, but it's starting a bidding process and starting that basing action. So I like today's volume, but remember, market lows aren't made in one day. It's a process. So keep that in mind. I think you get an opportunity to buy that. The other ones that I would say were big volume trades today that may be under the radar. A small move, John Deere had pretty big volume. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, John Deere had two times the 10-day average volume. Let's go up here and see if we got John Deere. Yeah, it does 1.6, and today it did 3.4. So something happened there was huge volume on Deere. Now, It was down yesterday. It hasn't recovered from, again, Monday's close, if you think about it, right, all entirely. So this is a market that I think that it's got a little bit more upside. Something's going on there. I don't think the daily volume is all that bad. It's not totally decrepit, but having a key reversal, Boeing, I would look at Deere probably the next day or so and see if that trend continues. But it's Boeing, BA. Now, that's one on the chart patterns that no one's really paying attention. Boeing did a little bit of an interesting move, and this is something I think for tomorrow. Look, it just slightly 10, 15% above 10-day average volume. But Boeing has all bad news thrown at it. It's still in a PPS buy. I would look at Boeing, a small-time risk, 77.80, risking under 75. And look for a small pullback if it's truly bullish, and you can have a tight stop on that one. What's the upside? Breaks the top side of the resistance at 180, and you're going up to back to the top end of the channel, but around 192 to 200 range, somewhere right up in there. If this is somebody's been acquiring Boeing all these weeks, and again, bad news doesn't make a stock go down; it's vulnerable for an upside. So if this is the beginning of what we see today, even though the breadth looks bad, a lot of stocks that were down, like Disney, down 2 cents, it's kind of gotten beaten up. So money can pour into also unpopular stocks for been a while, which is like Starbucks. The other one is SHAK. Both of those look appealing because they all had some decent volume and are setting up after a mild pullback. If bad news ain't making things go down, what's good news going to do? So watch those names. Have a great evening, and we'll update you on further videos tomorrow night. We'll see where we stand. It was a great trade in Tesla. I hope you enjoyed the analysis.